Okay, Terrence, so we're here at your lakefront property in the Finger Lakes of Greater New York, and of course it was a rainy day today, so it's going to restrict me from being able to really go up on some of these other roof facets and do a full evaluation. However, I was able to get a very good idea of the condition of the roof just from this lower section, which really is getting a lot less sun than some of these other facets of the roof. So I'm shooting this video. I want you to see from my point of view so that I can outline why we really do need to get this roof replaced and sort of what's going to happen as a result of not doing that. You obviously called us out here. You already know that you need to look into it, but I'm just going to make it I'm just going to show you really from a professional standpoint why and what I'm observing. So back to my point here, it's wet. All the shingles are wet, so the discrepancy is really a lot more difficult to identify at this moment. But what we have is a lot, and I mean a lot, of granular loss on this roof right now. Take a look in the gutter here. You can see, so this is sort of the evidence of this facet and all the granulars that are shedding off of this roof here. Now, if you come over to this little gutter here, where you have these two giant facets funneling to this one small section, you'll just see, like, look at the amount of granulars that have deposited off this roof into the gutter, okay? And this is really just, this is a result of normal age. The sun, when it bakes these shingles, the granulars shed loose, and then that just allows them to get really thin and brittle. So now, as a result, you're left with really not much shingle left. Okay, it just becomes oh, here we go, perfect. This one's lifting a little bit, so you can just see how thin and brittle the shingle becomes. And now you kind of mix that with the nails that have now rusted underneath. I would assume this is easily over 20 years old, probably 25 years old, and the nails poke through. You have these nails that rust, so they get thinner, and that sort of allows them to slide out of place. And then you mix that with a very thin and brittle shingle, it's just going to pop right through. And now you have a bunch of holes where water is going to leak inside. It doesn't necessarily mean you have a leak on your drywall yet, but this roof is leaking, and then it's only a matter of time before it's going to rot out plywood, and then it's going to soak up insulation inside the attic. So it's a good thing we're catching this early. Even on this lower section here, we have tons and tons of granular loss. So another issue with the granular loss, not only the nails that start to poke through, but just having fiberglass matting alone exposed here on the shingle. And this is something that's really hard to identify when everything's wet. So I brought this magnifying glass. I'm going to show you up close what this looks like, why it's an issue. So you can start to see now all the fibers that are exposed. This is the actual material that holds the shingle together, gives it its strength. However, when it's the last thing left on the shingle, it's not really protecting the roof. Okay, so now you're leaving that underlayment, that plywood to do all the work. Anytime water runs over these facets, it's getting absorbed by these sections of roofing. So, I mean, I can move this wherever, and you'll start to see. I'll show you this up close. So here's a nail pop here, and then right below it, a nail was popped loose at one point or another. Okay, and then just another fiberglass spot. So you can start to understand, right? Anytime water's running over these fiberglass spots, these nail pops, it's a leak. Okay, and then it might not seem like a big issue when you have something small like these little spots that form, but you compound this over the whole entire roof facet and just look at the amount of granulars that have shed. Your roof is taking on a lot more water than it should, and it's a great idea to seriously consider the replacement before you're gonna have to pay double to not only have the roof replaced, but now have all the plywood changed, and then, God forbid, we have to sister framing because the actual 2x6 rafters start to rot out. So I'm really glad you called us out today. We'll be able to put together a few options for you and take care of this roof and get it all squared away.